Now's Amber Athey, Washington editor of The Spectator. Amber, welcome back. Great to be with you. As we mentioned earlier, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi met with Pope Francis at the Vatican over the weekend, and today in Portugal, she received the Women for Peace and Security Award during a NATO ceremony. That said, she also received a bit of criticism from some going on her European trip because of all that's happening here at home. I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Sure. I mean, I think a lot of conservative Catholics in the United States were very critical of her meeting with the Pope and a bit concerned about the fact that he would be willing to meet with her, given the fact that she is such an outspoken proponent of abortion. The Pope has previously sort of criticized religious leaders in the United States who have criticized churches who give communion to politicians who are openly in support of abortion, saying that the issue should remain pastoral and not political. But clearly here, we can't read too much into the meeting because we don't know what was said behind closed doors. It's perfectly possible that the Pope did talk to Pelosi about her stance on the issue. And without more details, it's hard to be overly critical of the Pope choosing to meet with a politician, considering he does so quite often, regardless of the views that that specific politician holds.
Yeah, I want to talk now about President Biden. His popularity appears to be plummeting now, even among Democrats. What do you think he can or maybe should do in order to gain back confidence?
There are so many things. First of all, securing the border. There's undoubtedly a crisis when you have 15,000 Haitian migrants camping under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas, hoping to gain entry to the United States. This most recent jobs report showed that the job growth of the United States was well below expectations, at least partially because the Biden administration has been encouraging people to stay home with these unemployment insurance payments instead of fully reopening the economy in the face of the waning pandemic. And also, Joe Biden's behavior abroad has been particularly concerning for Americans who are worried about national security with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, as well as his rather bumbling speech at the United Nations. So across the board, Joe Biden needs to be a stronger leader and be willing to put America's interests first, as opposed to trying to appeal to the progressive wing of his party.
Yeah, and you mentioned the border. I was going to go there next. President Biden really getting low marks on his handling of the border crisis, which, as we know, seems to be getting worse. I know that you recently interviewed former President Donald Trump about a number of issues, including the border. What did he say about that?
The former president was very animated about the border issue and spoke specifically about the fact that the Biden administration, instead of dealing with its own policies and how they've led to a surge of illegal immigrants crossing the border, decided to throw Border Patrol under the bus and blame them for allegedly whipping Haitian migrants. As the former president pointed out, that was a bit of fake news. It turns out that the Border Patrol agents were simply riding on horseback and using their reins to control the horses, and it was a narrative that was taken out of context by people who did not understand that particular strategy in terms of border enforcement. And he also talked about the fact that Biden undid a number of his policies, particularly the Remain in Mexico policy, that discouraged this type of erroneous asylum seeking and other means of trying to enter the United States illegally.
Yeah, I know another thing that you also talked to President Trump about was the Department of Justice directing the FBI to investigate threats of violence at local school board meetings, essentially to investigate parents. What did he have to say about that?
Yes, the former president condemned the DOJ and Attorney General Merrick Garland for going after parents. He pointed out that most of these parents, in fact, the vast majority, 99.9% of them, are engaging in peaceful but passionate protests against things like critical race theory, mask mandates, and vaccine mandates in their schools because they simply want a classical American-centric education for their children, not one that peddles in race baiting and other leftist ideas. And when I asked him specifically about Merrick Garland and if he thought that the 20 Republicans who voted to confirm him to Attorney General had made a mistake, he said that he still believes that Merrick Garland is a good man and that he can run the DOJ fairly and without politicization.
Well, Amber, unfortunately, we have to leave it right there. Great to speak with you. Amber Athey, Washington editor of The Spectator. Thanks again.
Thank you.